Well, with the shell off the frame, we'll want to get to the lighting areas. We want to actually put lights into the rear light over the cab, and we're going to relight the front. I'll show you how you can take this apart, and I'll show you a little bit about how we do the rear light. So first we're going to take off the handrails. There are 4 that need to come off. A nice tweezers helps doing this immensely. Okay, then what we'll do is we'll pry the handrails off the side of the body slightly. And there are 6 tabs that hold the walkway. We'll take that right off. So there you go. Many times with these locomotives, these tabs, they make contact with the frame on either side, and then with the wheels, the contact on the trucks. Sometimes these pop off. Don't get crazy if that happens. You can put them back on with a little bit of epoxy, and you're set to go. So there you have the walkway and handrails. This is the bottom side of the shell now. So what we'll do is we'll take our fingers, we'll very gently push aside, and you'll see this will come right off. There's a couple of tabs that hold this cab onto the body. We'll set the body aside temporarily, and then we'll come here. Now inside here is a weight, so we have to take the weight out, and the easiest way to do is take your tweezers, get it in between the plastic and the metal weight, and just pull up. You might have to wiggle it a little bit to get it out, but it will come out fairly easily. Set that aside. Now you have 3 pieces of glass. The front, the back, and the 2 sides are 1 piece. So let's see if we can get the 2 sides out first. Again, the same thing. You get the tweezers in between the glass and the plastic and pull up. You do the same on this side, and you kind of walk it out. Pull up, you pull up, and here you go. So that's the piece of glass for the 2 sides. The other ones will just come out. Here's the rear glass is the large one, and the front glass is the small one. We're going to have to modify the glass somewhat, and the weight, and I'll show you the end piece. What we need to do is the back. This is the back of the weight. We're going to need to slice this out to give that little bit of room for the decoder. It's relatively thin, but it just the decoder needs to sit back in that place. So what I do is I cut with my cut-off wheel. I cut, and then I break it right out. So this is what the weight will look like when we put it back. We're going to do the same with the window for the back. We're actually going to cut off the bottom of the window, so it will be here and here. And I can do that right now. Okay, so here you have the window. Windows in the back. We'll clean that up a little bit with our hobby knife. If I could find my hobby knife, here it is. And we'll take off the excess plastic that builds up. And this will give the back of the decoder enough room to sit properly, so that the shell and the frame mesh together nicely. If you try to do it without, I mean, you might be able to. I find that this is the easiest way to do it. A little more work, but in the long run, it gives you the best fit. Okay, so we'll set that aside. Now what we're going to want to do here is we want to put lights in this. What I have is fiber optics, and it's a little bit involved to do, but it's nothing that you can't handle. So let's cut a little bit of the fiber optic off. Give us enough to do both lenses. Alright, we're going to roughly cut them in half with the little scissors. We'll cut them in half like that. And then with a soldering iron, low wattage soldering iron, you take it and we want to bevel the end of each one. So we're going to bevel this end, and then we're going to bevel this end. Okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to use our end mill. We have a micro end mill, and in our flexible shaft here, and we're going to mill out a little bit where the lights will go, not too much, just enough to let them sit in and give us room for our LED. That should be enough. Okay, so we'll get rid of the excess plastic. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to take the flat end, the beveled end out, and we'll push in the flat end right through the holes that are there. Alright, so they follow through. We'll do the same with this one, and that will follow right through. There you go. We'll pull them, okay? So there you have two lights sticking out of the light. Alright? Two lenses, rather. So there you have it. Now what we'll do is we'll take our end nippers, we'll cut these. Cut them maybe 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more. Again, we'll take our low wattage soldering iron and we're going to bevel these right in. Now this is a very, very important part, but it's very, very dangerous because you can either burn yourself or melt the plastic. So you have to practice somewhere first before you do this on your model, and then you can do it. So now you can see I've got two lenses that go all the way through. They give me a spot to put my LED. What we're going to do is we're going to take our LED and we are going to put that in there, and I'll show you that in the next segment. Well, I'm just putting the finishing touches on our LED assembly that will be used for our roof beacon. It's an option that we do offer here at Top Hobby Trains that's very popular. So what I'll do is I just put on my resistor, and I need to just put a little bit of soldering paste and just a little tiny bit of solder on the tip of my soldering iron, and off it goes. Okay, so this completes the amber LED that we're going to use for our roof beacon. And what I like to do is put a couple of little leads on the end of the wires just to make sure that everything works. And I just use very low voltage, and I don't know if you can see that, but it does glow, which means that it's fine. So I wanted to show you how we put our headlight or rear light in, and I have it hooked up to a couple of leads, and I'm going to use about 5 volts. I have a resistor in line with this already. So what we'll do is we'll take this and we'll pump it up to about 5 volts. There you go. So now there's my LED. In order to put this in line with the headlights, I'll take a little bit of Kapton tape. Okay, and I use this, I cut it in half, just need a little sliver, and I'm going to bend the light with my fingernail to about half of the width of the roof of the cab. Alright, so we'll do this, we'll do it just like that. Okay, then what I'm going to do is take this, take the wires, and place the light with my fine tip tweezers in the cab. Okay, and that will give me a good placement. Alright, but I'm going to fine tune that once I get the tape down. So here we go with the tape. And put the tape in, and that'll basically hold it in place temporarily until I get everything the way I like it. Alright, And so there you go. And we will adjust this. Okay. So you can see the light. It'll need some adjusting. And off you go. What I'd like to do is take it out right now and show you what we do in order to put the roof beacon in. Now I've already drilled the hole and put my fiber in there, so my lens, so that it's there. I'm going to use again my end mill, and I need to make a little well in the top of the shell on the inside. So here we go. This is very delicate. You have to be very careful. So what we'll do is we'll take the end mill and gently go around the fiber. And I'm going to make a little well for my LED to sit in. Okay. Just a little bit. You don't want to press too hard, just a little bit. Alright. Okay. Alright, I think that's about it. Just a little tiny well. I'm using a micro LED, or what they call nano LEDs. They're really, really tiny LEDs to sit there. And I use the small LED because I don't want it to interfere with the glass pieces that have to fit back. So once I get that all back in place, I'll show you how it looks once it's done. Okay, so we've finished up a couple of these now, and I have one where we have the headlights. You can see the lights are aimed through the light pipes pretty good, and we have it blacked out nicely underneath with our blackout tape, and so that way it doesn't shine through. But you can see here this one has the strobe light on the roof also that's not on right now, but we'll put it on. You can see that there's no bleed through, so that's pretty good. And this assembly is ready for the glass. We can try to put that back in now, and let's see how that works. We'll take our three pieces that we prepared, okay, and we will see if we can get these back in without too much trouble. Alright, so we'll put the back piece in first. That should slide right into place, and it does. The front piece will slide in. Again, the little dimples of the window panes have to face out, so just make sure you do that if you decide to do this yourself. Alright, we want the wires to be up the front of the window dividing point. We made a notch in the top of the glass to take into account the work that we did, so that it sits better. And we'll slide this down so that it holds the front and rear glass in place. Takes a little bit of fitting and jiggling to get it there, but it'll go eventually. Oops, that came out. There you go. So, put this back, and we'll try it again. Doesn't always work on the first try, so flip this around. There we go. Okay, so we'll just slide this down, and it goes into place. You want to make sure that the glass is snapped into the outside and all the way around, which it is here. Now you're going to have a little bit of unsightliness here, but you really can't see that once everything is done and put back together. So there's your your completed cab detail. Now I'm going to take my cut. Remember, we had to cut the back of the weight. I'm going to take that. I'm going to orient that with the open face forward. This is the thing, and our cut piece facing backwards. And I'm going to put that right in also. Here we go. Alright, here we go. So it doesn't always work 100% of the time. You just have to, you know, finagle it into place. So there's your completed cab with your lighting ready to go. So let's see how that looks. Let's see. So there's my headlights, and you can see that, and there's my strobe light. So now we'll continue on to putting in the decoder and hopefully finishing it up. So here is our completed assembly for the lights that we put into the cab. You have here is where you're going to have routed out for your rear lights, just a little bit there, and that's where we put our two fiber optics. Underneath here is where I made a little well in the roof and underside of the roof, and poke through my fiber for our roof beacon, and face the amber LED, of course, towards the beacon, you know, towards the top of the roof. The leads come forward. Here's the Kapton tape that holds them. The leads come forward and then up where the divider, the window divider is. To hold the LEDs in place, we use a couple of things. We use the Formula 560 canopy glue. It's really great. It dries clear. If you get it onto any of the plastic parts, it comes off with a little bit of water or just with your finger. So just to show you, we also did the headlight for the front of the locomotive the same way. We trimmed up to give us the room that we need for the speaker that's going to sit up in here. The speaker will actually sit in this area. We trimmed back the stock lenses that they put in for micro trains into the headlight, and we then proceeded to put our LED in the same way that we did the LED for the cab. So here you can take a look at this. There's our headlight. It's nice and bright, as opposed to the light that comes stock with the locomotive. Also, we'll show you this one. Here you go. There's our two lights. They're independent, but I have them hooked up together and so this is it. And you know, if you do decide to do this, just remember it's a delicate work, and you know, have fun.